beforehand, but they accepted me as a member even if I haven't started my own group yet at Schoolcraft. They were incredibly supportive and they were incredibly happy that I was there, and then we all went to dinner afterwards, so most of us, that is. And that's really bonding and it makes you want to come back.
Bonding. Could that be a thing? So
yeah.
What are concrete steps that you can create group cohesion?
I was gonna suggest having fun together, like going out, like inviting people together to go out to a show,
Diners.
or parties, or you can do fun things that are also activities together, like talking and maybe guerrilla theater or street theater and stuff like that. If that's like in your campaign or something like that.
Great. Maybe it would be useful in your chapters to brainstorm what are the ways that we can grow as a group and do things like activities.
Yeah.
And I would actually push a question of saying, inviting people to shows, how does that contribute to subcultural alienation? Or if you're talking about connecting with building relationships in the larger community and with other groups, what are some of the activities that maybe other folks like to do that aren't immediately what you would think to do?
Right.
I didn't mean to.
Oh no, it's cool. I was gonna suggest maybe like party. Oh, I already said parties, so that's
movie night, because everyone loves movies.
We had a movie night once that didn't work out too well, but.
Well, and I think going out to eat is one thing that everybody does. And that, like if you go to something nondescript like a diner late at night, it's kind of hard to contribute to like subcultural alienation. Because it's not really some specific culture that we're in, besides American culture, and we can't escape that.
Of course.
First off.
I think this is an excellent exercise, and just at the beginning of a group, inviting people to say, well, what are their ideas of how to make a campaign? And another question is, what are the important values or objectives you want to realize in being part of this organization, so that they have their own input into the vision. I was the one who wrote up there what wasn't too legible about power structure analysis of the trustees and financial support of the institution to show the illegitimacy or narrow base of the authority on which the focus target is based. And I think every group in some way should have a little research committee that tries to do that power structure analysis of the institution in which you are. Where does its money come from? Where is its power? How is it interconnected with the rest of the society? To demystify the image of the university or the school as promoting your education rather than promoting your role in the working, serving the system. So that element of developing a chapter by having within it the task of understanding where you are, what this institution is, and finding out who the trustees are, what kind of corporations they are part of, where the money comes from, and so on, and what the research money comes from to support the university. That's all part that isn't public, but anybody coming in have to do a research paper or something for class. It's something that they could get involved in, just do a little part of it. So immediate way to be out and engaged without having to be some, public person.
Right. What are some?
Oh, I'm sorry. Kind of a tangent from the activities and what Al just said, but I'd say it has more to do with subcultural alienation, and it's keeping the dialogue about values instead of ideologies. I've noticed in my first year of SDS organizing, I'd fall back on organizing around anarchism or socialists, and I think that while SDS definitely has the very anti-authoritarian bent to it, it's focused on values that a lot of people share, and they might just not realize that their values point towards a new system and a new structure of society yet. But if you address them through values instead of through ideologies, because people will just assume you're selling another newspaper or you're shilling for a party or something. And that's not really what we are, because we are focused on values that are like as American as apple pie.
Great. And so, speaking of values, maybe a good question to ask would be, a lot of these are structured around like, well, who are you? What are you doing? What's your vision? What are you doing? And I think that a lot of SDS chapters get confused that if they say, you know, we are anti-authoritarian, anti-racist, anti-sexist, blah, 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 we have this systemic analysis, that somehow people will be like, okay, that's the identity of the group. But often, especially with campus activism, but it's true for everywhere, your group is going to be defined by what you do. And so it's important to be picking campaigns and waging fights that are visible, that reflect those values that you're talking about. So maybe if people want to throw out ideas about ways that they can structure